right now?
I mean, it's just a feeling of excitement. I mean, it's a blessing to be here. So, I mean, everything I've been through here, trials and tribulations, things of that nature. And just today was a blessing.
God. And if you could go back to your younger self or someone who was, middle school athlete playing football, what would you tell them to help them along the way? You talked about the trials and tribulations. What could you advise them as it relates to getting through those trials and tribulations?
Just stay on the path. It's gonna be bumps and bruises, all type of things. Just stay on the path.
All right, thank you, man. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Shakur, here's Mateus from Time Out Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft. A lot of scouts talk about your versatility on the secondary, that you can play corner, can play slot, can do a lot of things. How do you think there's going to be a smooth transition for you in the NFL? Like, what spot do you see yourself better, like in the first year, or for understanding better the game?
I mean, honestly, I don't have a preference. I don't lose anything playing inside or outside.
And how do you think that the pro day can help your players, like, because you don't have the combine and all of 2020 season was totally different? How do you think that the pro day can help your in this process of the draft?
Just show what type of player I am, show what type of work ethic I have, and intensity I bring. My persona.
Thank you. Good luck.
We'll go back to the chat now, and it looks like we're up to Matt Wenzel with them live. Matt.
Hey, Shakur, your first 2 years here, you had Justin Lane leave early as a pro. You had Josiah go. You saw guys that pretty much came in a similar situation, do the same thing. How much did you learn from them in kind of taking the same step?
Them guys kind of paved the way for me, especially Josiah is my old roommate. So we used to talk a lot, he helped me with the plays, and Justin was like my big brother when I came on campus. So he helped me a lot through the path too.
And did you get feedback from the advisory committee before declaring? And if so, I was wondering just if you could share what kind of their view of you was.
Honestly, I didn't even get it back. So I didn't get it.
Is there anything in particular you were looking to show today for the scouts?
Just my work ethic, what I bring to the table.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Our next question will go to Matt Charbonneau, the Detroit News.
Hey, Shakur, obviously, we saw how you performed on the field, especially last year. When you played that well and you've shown out on film, do you actually get a little bit nervous in these sort of pro day settings where, it's a little bit different, where it's just times and stopwatches and all that? Is it different, or how much different is it?
No, I'm to the point where pressure is all in your mind, so.
Did you train specifically for I know there's no combine, but a lot of the same sort of drills. Did you do specific training for this as opposed to just what you would normally do?
No, it was the same process.
All right. Thanks, man.
Our next question will go to Chris Solar, the Detroit Free Press.
Shaq, kind of wondered if you could walk us through the decision process. When did you kind of decide, okay, this is my path, I'm going to leave the eligibility on the table, and what have you done since? Did you go elsewhere? Where did you go to train, and who have you been working with?
Well, I wasn't thinking about leaving until the second from last game of the season, because, I was just focused on the season. And when it came to the point, I made the decision, talked it over with my dad and coaches. And then after that, I went to Exos in Pensacola, Florida. Then I went to Bomberitos in Miami.
With making that decision, I guess what went into it in your mind? Because obviously you have a year left, or maybe two, that with the COVID situation. What made this the time for you?
I felt like I was physically, mentally, and emotionally ready.
Our next question will go to Alan Sanders.
Yeah, just talking about your relationship with Justin Lane, I wondered if you've talked to the Steelers at all in this process.
Yes, I have.
What was that like? And in general, what have you been hearing from the NFL teams that you've talked to?
I mean, it was a good conversation. I mean, I've talked to pretty much everybody, and it's all good things.
Anything specific that you feel like you wanted to show today or you wanted to accomplish today?
Um, I went out there and gave it all I got, put my best foot forward. So
Thank you.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Audrey Dahlgren with WLNS.
Shakur, who did you talk to the most when it came to making your decision? And maybe, obviously, a big factor is your own to leave, but who maybe helped you and talked you through most of the process and what it would be like to leave and kind of not hold your hand, but you know what I mean? Who helped you the most in that aspect?
I would say my father.
Was there anything specifically that he mentioned to you that stuck out?
Just, weigh all the options.
Okay, thanks.
Our last question will go to Rico Cooney with Spartan Magazine.
Hey, Shakur, congratulations on your day. Hey, can you talk about if you had a little better vibe from one or more teams? And also, do you have any visits set up for any kind of, interviews or training?
We're not doing the visits this year because of the COVID situation. But I mean, I got the same vibe from everybody, everybody, it's a lot of good dudes in the business, so it's all good.
So just quick follow-up. So would you be doing like maybe a second Zoom meeting with teams?
I mean, through the process, yeah, we'll be doing more Zoom meetings and talking to them. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you, Shakur, for your time. Really appreciate it. Congrats on a great pro day. And we'll have, I think, Antoine Simmons or Naquan Jones up next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shakur. Good luck.
Next up, we're joined by defensive tackle Naquan Jones. Naquan was invited to the NFL Scouting Combine, had a chance to work out in front of the NFL teams. Naquan, if you want to unmute real quick on the computer and we'll get started here.
Yep.
There we go. Sounds good. Well, we'll start with Chris Solar from the Detroit Free Press.
Hey, Naquan. Congratulations on getting the invite to the Combine. I guess, in your journey to getting to the NFL, what does that ultimately mean? And at this point, for you, what have you heard from teams about your future and what they like and what maybe things they want you to work on?
Thank you so much for it. I mean, I've dreamt of this forever, actually, from when I started playing football. And, it's just one step closer. I set some goals for myself for this draft process, and I was able to, meet many of them, and I'm still working towards meeting the rest of them. I pretty much heard the same, similar consensus from teams like, just get your weight down, get your conditioning up, and, just stay as consistent as you can. And I I was able to reach my goal weight. I looked pretty good today. I think so, going through the position drills and, going through the drills and, obviously, those times and, the feedback will reflect, but from teams, I've been hearing that, I have the potential and I have the, the play level to compete. at the next level. So I just continue to do what I, need to do.
Is it for you as a guy who would have come back for a 6th year? I mean, was there ever any thought of entertaining that, or did you kind of know going into this year that, yeah, this will be my last?
I mean, yeah, it was a tough decision to make, but again, I handled some things in college that, I felt like I was ready to take that step. I got my degree. I've been here for 5 years now, and, I felt like it was time for me to make that step, and I think I made the best decision.
Next question will go to Matt Charbonneau, the Detroit News.
Hey, Quan, you had some teammates like Raekwon and Mike, right, that you played a lot with that just went through all this a year ago. And did you lean on those guys or talk to those guys about what this experience was going to be like and kind of preparing yourself for it?
Yeah, absolutely. We, we speak a lot all the time. Actually, we're in a group chat, but I leaned on Kenny very heavily, Kenny Willikis, and he just told me to stay the process. Even if you don't run the best time or bench, just it's basically your ability, and you do what you can do. Just leave here with no regrets, and that's exactly what I did today. I did exactly, I did all I could do today, and I feel glad that I was able to come here and compete.
I assume then that you'll continue to talk to those guys about the next steps from here, and dealing with the draft and all that stuff too as well, I'd imagine, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Those are some of my best friends, even off the field. So we're gonna, they're gonna be in my corner forever. Those are like my brothers. So we're gonna have that relationship forever.
Thanks, man.
Our next question will go to Lindsay Adelson.
Naquan, congratulations on your pro day. Congratulations on getting your degree too. I know that's very important to you and your family. You've played in big games all your life. Can you compare the big games to your actual pro day, anxiety, pressure, or just compare the two, or is there no comparison when it comes to a pro day?
Yeah, I actually was just asked this question the other day. Thank you. I never really get nervous before games, just because I feel like I've prepared myself, throughout the week. And then, it's football at the end of the day. I've been playing football since I was 5 years old. So I don't feed into like the crowd or who we're playing against. I never have nerves going into a game, but today I was a little nervous coming in here today, waking up this morning. And I felt that because just like, even with all the preparation I'm doing, you don't really know. It's uncertain what you're going to bench, what you're going to run. And, just the nerves built up a little bit, but I was able to push that to the side. And, by the time I got to position drills, it was just football again. So I was just having fun with it.
Great. And a quick follow-up, I'll pose this to your teammate, Shaq. Go to your younger self, even though people say, hey, man, you got a big body, you may go to the NFL. What advice would you give your younger self then, or any other young person who has NFL hopes at an early age?
I hear this all the time, and it's kind of cliche, but it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And, results aren't going to come overnight. It's something that you have to work towards. I would ask my trainer every day, I would lose a pound or two, and I'm like, damn, when am I going to, sorry, excuse my language, but when am I going to get to my goal weight? And I noticed that you just have to continuously keep doing the right things. And it paid off. I haven't weighed 313, I don't think, since high school. And that's the lowest weight I've been in a while. And I set my mind to that, and, it's all there, it's all there for the taking. So if you just set your mind to it, everything is obtainable.
Excellent. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Matt Wenzel with MLive.
Hey, Naquan, you and Shaq both got the combine invites officially, and obviously there just wasn't a combine this year. Was it kind of, I guess, what was it like to get that, which is obviously something everybody, who wants to play in the NFL would like, but it's kind of a little bit hollow since you didn't get to go to Indy.
I'm still grateful for the invite. There's a lot of guys that weren't invited, and I can put that, at that credential that I was there, that I was able to compete with the best players in college football. So that's obviously a confidence booster. It was still, without going to Indianapolis, we still had to go through that process. So all the things, everything happened in the order that it was supposed to, but it took away a little bit, but at the end of the day, you were still participating in those things. So like I said, I'm very grateful and thankful that I got the invite to the combine.
And can you kind of walk us through what you've been up to since season ended to now preparing for pro day? I know I saw you in the Hula Bowl pick up a sack, and you kind of just recap that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was training at Mamba Sports Academy in California, Thousand Oaks, California, and they did a great job helping me get my weight down, helping me get in shape, prepping me for the game in Hawaii, the Hula Bowl, and I felt overly prepared for that game. I felt like I hadn't even, taken any time off from the season. Just stepping back on the field, it was a great feeling. And I felt like it was just another game, another Saturday. And it was great, honestly. Being in Hawaii, like I said, I did a lot of self-reflecting, and I would just sit on the balcony, and I thought like, wow, this is amazing. The game of football has taken me to Hawaii. I never thought, I would be in Hawaii, and it was great. So from there, I went back to California, trained a little bit more, and then I got to Chicago actually 2 weeks ago. So I picked up training right there. I've tried to keep it pretty consistent, and stay on the schedule so I can just, do everything I need to do to be ready for this day and moving forward.
That's neat. Thanks, Naquan. Congrats and good luck.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Matthias Ornelas from Timeout Brazil.
Naquan, Matheus Anellis from Timeout Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft.
Thank you.
You already talked about like all the training, the hard work that Michigan State have. How do you think that play on the Big Ten in the college? How do you think that prepares you players for the NFL? Playing a conference that's so strong, have so many great guys for the next level, so many great teams that every year are like there. How is for you like working on this kind of conference?
Playing in the Big Ten is, I would consider it the best conference in college football, and it's tough. You're not going to play against a team that you're just going to dominate. Everybody's going to compete every week. So, you have to bring it every week. And that, I feel like that shows you, exactly where your skill is and where, your style of play is. Like I said, you're going to be playing against Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State every year. So, the level of competition is there. And you go out there and have a big game or you compete against those guys. Ohio State just came from the national championship. And, that was a pretty big indicator for me, actually, to determine what I was going to do in my future. And I had a pretty good game against Ohio State. And, those are, just games like that really stand out because you want to see where you're at on a scale of competition, and like I said, in the Big Ten, everybody's going to bring it. So, it's definitely a confidence thing. It's a confidence builder. And it's, you just see where you're at going on to the next level because a lot of those guys on a lot of those teams are going to, also be joining you or, competing to go to that next level.
Thank you. Good luck during the process.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Audrey Dahlgren with WLNS.
Hi, Naquan. You had mentioned that you had set some goals for yourself going into this draft. I'm assuming dropping weight was one of those goals. What else were the goals, if you could, tell us about it?
Obviously, I wanted to get to 315. That was my main goal that I set leaving school. And I was able to get to that weight in at 313 today. So I'm very excited for that. I just wanted to, show teams because like I said, I've had a pretty general consensus. Teams wanted to see, my condition improve, my conditioning. And that, I even heard that from after the Hula Bowl. And that's something that I really worked hard on. And I knew they were going to push me today through the position drills. I was the only one out there by myself. So I knew that I had to work. They obviously, I got a little tired sometimes, but that's, that comes with playing football. And I was able to push through and I was able to do everything I needed to do. So that was just minor, like little things I thought about through the process. Like just keep pushing yourself, like at the end of the day, you have an end goal and that's to, make someone's team and, hear my name called on draft day. So that, those are still goals that I need to, accomplish, complete. But as far as going forward, I just wanted to push myself to see, how good I could become during this time.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Kevin Fishbane with The Athletic.
Hey, Naquan, I'm wondering your Evanston ties as you reach this point in your career. What is that, growing up there, playing there, what does that kind of mean to you at this juncture?
It means everything. My grandmother tells me all the time that I'm such a huge role model to the young kids in the community. And, I'm not, like I said, I hold myself to a pretty high standard. I'm never satisfied with what I do. And I will tell that to any young kid growing up out of Evanston, just don't get complacent. It's all there for you for the taking, but it all can be taken away from you. And I just want to continue to keep representing my hometown. There's a lot of nonsense that happens there. And, it's a very good town, but there's also a lot of negativity that happens there. So I just want to be the light for the community. I want people to understand that what I'm doing is bigger than me. You know, I want to be a light for the community, like I said, and I just want to be someone that, you know, those younger kids can look up to.
Our next question is from Rico Cooney with Spartan Magazine.
Hey, Naquan, congratulations on the process today.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about the drills and maybe something that you felt that you did really well and maybe something, you know, you're like, maybe not so much, but just kind of talk about that process and what you were able to show in the drills.
Yeah, I was able to show, you know, a lot more explosion. I was able to, you know, show off my quickness. Obviously, you know, with dropping 20 pounds, I felt a lot quicker. You know, I felt a lot better just moving. You know, it felt better on my body, and you know, that's what coach has been trying to get me to do while I was at Michigan State. It took me, you know, to leave here to, you know, get that to happen. But it felt amazing today. You know, one thing I probably could have picked up on is just my 40. I was struggling with that through this process, just, you know, trying to get the running technique down because I was running a certain way, which I thought was correct. And, you know, it was actually slowing me down a little bit. So I had to basically change my entire running mechanic and, you know, be an Olympic sprinter. You know, that's what my trainer was telling me, like, don't be a football player right now, be a sprinter. So it was just a lot of technique stuff that I needed to learn, you know, and I was able to get it down, but, you know, I'm just still in the process of learning how to properly run like a sprinter instead of, you know, a football player.
And as a quick follow-up, did you get a good vibe from one or more teams, or was it pretty much universal?
Yeah, I've been in communication with teams pretty much almost every day, and a lot of those teams are here today. So my agent going into this, he told me that, you know, teams are going to be looking what you do, looking for what you do in a position drill. So I think I was able to, you know, give a good representation, and, you know, I think for the most part they like what they saw.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our final question from Naquan comes from Mookie Hawkins from the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, you're on mute.
You forgetting that, man. Naquan Jones, Mookie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports Cincinnati, Buffalo. How's it going, big guy?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Now, how have your time at Michigan State and playing Big Ten ball prepared you for this moment? And did the Bills be in contact with you?
I mean, Michigan State has done a great job. You know, like I said, I've been here for 5 years, and every year they, you know, I feel like I've taken away something from every year. I came in here into Michigan State, I was immature. You know, I had to do a lot of soul searching. I've experienced some adversity while I was here, and I had to mature and grow up and become a man, because as you step into that leadership role and as you get older, you know, you have younger guys that look up to you. And I learned you can't always be the funny guy. You can't, you know, not everybody's going to like you. You just got to do what you need to do to be a winner and help your team win and, you know, get the job done. As far as, I mean, Coach Burden and, you know, my D-line coach, Coach Burden, he pushed me every day. And, you know, and he was another advocate to get me to lose weight. And I was, you know, I was so defiant. Like I said, I needed to become more disciplined. And that's why, you know, I love him to death, because he was that father figure that I needed throughout college, you know, especially with the adversity that I went through. And I have not been in that much communication with the Bills, actually. It's probably one of the few teams that I really haven't heard from too much. So.
Oh, wow. Hey, wish you the best with this process, man, and good luck on draft day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Looks like that's all the questions we have for you, Naquan. Really appreciate you joining us today. Best of luck getting ready for the NFL draft.
Sir, thank you.
Thanks, Naquan.
All right, next up, we're going to have Brian the Workie join us for a few minutes, and we'll have Antoine Simmons. Brian was one of the few seniors from the 2019 team that was able to work out today, including a few others. So we'll have Brian join us here shortly. All right, Brian, if you want to unmute the computer there, and we'll get started here in a couple minutes. We're joined now by quarterback Brian Lewerke. Brian worked out for NFL Scouts today at Michigan State's Pro Day. We'll start with some questions, and we'll first go to Chris Solara, the Detroit Free Press. Chris?
Hey, Brian, good to see you. It's been obviously a weird year. We should have been doing this a year ago in the weave, but what have you done in the last year? Obviously, you lasted on with the Patriots for a while. What has been the way that you've tried to keep your mind and body in football shape when you haven't really had it?
Yeah, after I was cut by the Pats back in September, I had a few tryouts with some teams, and just kind of been throwing with my coach down in Arizona, making sure I'm working out, staying in shape for whenever I need a call, or whenever a team calls me. Like I was down in Florida one time, and I got a call from my agent that the Colts wanted to come try me out, so I had to go fly out from there. So you just kind of got to be ready at all times.
How did this all come about? Can you kind of let us know, like, when did Coach Tucker? Yeah, when did Coach Tucker and everybody reach out, say, you want to come back and do this?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of popped in my head that they would probably invite us back, back in January. And we got a text from Scott about, a month and a half ago, just asking that if anyone wanted to come back that didn't get to do their pro day last year, they can come do it. So I definitely hopped on that as soon as I could.
Next question is from Matheus Ornelas from Timeout Brazil.
Brian, Mateus from Timeout Brazil. Congratulations for not having your pro day now. Like, even it's late, but it's a great chance for you guys for show for the NFL a little more. How you have a full career in Michigan State in the college level, and you have all the 2020 problems of the COVID. And how do you think that the COVID was a big problem from you guys? What do you learn with all that happened last year? And how do you think that's your real chances for the NFL this year?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't help anything at all, having preseason canceled. And, for guys like me that go undrafted, preseason is really big for us, just to be able to try and show what we can do in game situations. So not having that was, definitely sucked. And then just having the whole protocol for teams having to, keep you for a week before you can do a tryout, make sure you got a quarantine before a tryout. It made it a little less attractive for teams to bring guys in for tryouts. But, you got to be ready at all times, like I said, and just, have a positive attitude about it whenever you can.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next question is from Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Brian. Hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. I wanted to, you sort of just touched on it. Just when you look back, how frustrating was last year? Like, you spend so much of your life building up to try to go to the NFL. Your time comes, and then so much was out of your control. Like, you talk about pro day, smaller rosters, preseason, and it's like it was no fault of your own. Just the timing of the world sort of screwed up your natural shot with how you were coming along. I mean, how'd you sort of come to grips with that, I guess, like just the frustration, but also knowing like you had no real control of it, like I said?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get. I mean, I obviously was upset and frustrated about it, but at a point, there's nothing you can do about it. So there's really no point in getting mad because it's just gonna, eat at you. So you just got to move on a little bit, and that's kind of what I did. I had my shot with the team and didn't get all the opportunities that I wanted with that team, but I'm trying to, hopefully make an impression on someone. Hopefully I did today, and they can bring me in.
And like you said, with that experience you got last year, just what'd you learn from that you think will help you this second time around?
Just being, knowing what NFL teams expect and being in the building with them and seeing how much of a business it is. You got to be on your toes at all time, make sure you're prepared for everything that, a coach can throw at you. And I think I've definitely learned that a bunch, being with them for the time that I was.
And then one more, if I could, really quick, just from your agent and teams, what has sort of been the dialogue throughout, these past couple of weeks, or really the last year? Were you getting sort of feedback of like, hey man, stay in this and you might get a real shot next year? Or was it kind of like, it's up to you and we'll see? And I mean, what was sort of that feedback from the NFL or your agent or whoever?
Yeah. I had 3 tryouts in the span of, 5 months or whatever it was after,
I was released by the Patriots. So, you know, just being, you know, my agent was telling me to keep up with stuff. Like I said, it can happen at any time a team can call. So I just had to be ready for whatever, you know, whenever a team called me up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, no problem.
Our next question is from Matt Wenzel with M Live.
Hey, Brian, I was wondering before today, or when did you get back in town? To East Lansing or Lansing?
Monday afternoon.
When was the last time you'd been here before Monday?
About almost exactly a year ago. I flew up to Michigan, and then like 2 days later last year, they canceled it because of COVID. So,
how weird is it being back in the building today with all that's changed in a year? You know, with Mark leaves, you got a new staff, you don't get a pro day, and you've been through the NFL experience a little bit, and now you're kind of trying to get that second shot and doing it, a year later.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to meet everyone that I've seen on TV and Twitter and Instagram for the past year, and not been able to meet. Definitely would have been up for a game if this was a real year last year. I would have met everyone, but it was great for them to bring us back, and it was great for to meet all the coaching staff. I talked with Coach Tucker and the offensive coordinator a little bit, so it was great to meet them, and I'm definitely thankful for that opportunity.
And you touched a little bit on what you learned in the NFL, in your experience. Is there anything you're looking to show today that is just a little bit different from last year?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I ran a horrible 40-yard dash at the combine last year, so I wanted to show that I still got the speed, and I think I did that pretty well. And you just show off my arm strength. I think my arm has definitely gotten stronger, and I'm able to throw the ball downfield a little better than what I could do in college.
Thanks, Brian. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next question is from Rico Cooney with Spartan Magazine.
Hey, Brian, welcome back here. Talk a little bit about a phrase that you learned to live by in college, and maybe how it took on a little different meaning with COVID and everything, about best ability is availability. Talk about how that's a different kind of meaning for you now.
Yeah, just, when you were not on a team, or even when you were, you had to make sure that you were staying away from any situations that could get you COVID. And that's what I had to do when I was with the Pats. And even throughout this past 6 months, is just trying to stay away from places where I could get it, because, a team can call you up, and if you got it, then obviously you can't do a tryout, can't compete for a spot on the team. So I've been doing whatever I can, staying in shape and all that, to be available for whenever a team calls.
Just as a quick follow-up to that, how difficult was that for you to maybe, want to do something or want to go somewhere, and then have to catch yourself and go, nope, staying in the house, watching some Netflix?
Yeah, it's definitely not fun, with all, friends that maybe aren't playing football that can kind of do whatever they want. It definitely took a little bit of self-discipline, but I think I did a good job. Never had it, so I've done my part.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Our final question for Brian will go back to Chris Solari.
That actually brought up another question. Have you got vaccinated yet? And what have you heard from the NFL about things that they're saying with when to get vaccinated for prospects and everything that goes on? Are they giving you guys advice on that?
No, I mean, I have not been vaccinated, and I have not heard anything from teams as far as, requirements for it. So I really have no clue.
Do you feel like that will make a difference maybe for guys like you who are testing the free agent market and do come in for tryouts to have that?
Yeah, I mean, it'll give teams more confidence that to bring you in, and you're not going to, screw up their entire program in a matter of a few days. So I think it would definitely help. Yeah.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on a great pro day, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, next up, we'll be joined by linebacker Antoine Simmons. At the end, unfortunately, Coach Tucker is in a meeting right now. I don't know if I'll be able to get him on or not. I know he talked yesterday for a little bit, but I will get Scott Aligo, our Director of Player Personnel, on at the end. I think I can make that work. He organized Pro Day. I know Darian Harris was talking about him a couple weeks ago, but he'll be a good person to talk to about the behind-the-scenes aspect of Pro Day. So next up, we have linebacker Antoine Simmons. Antoine, if you want to unmute the computer, and we'll get started here.
All right, there we go.
There we go. All right, well, Antoine, it's great to see you. I know that you've been working hard for Pro Day, and we'll have some questions for you here in a little bit as we get going.
Okay, all right.
Looks like we'll start with Matt Wenzel with MLive.
Antoine, I was wondering what you have been working on the most. Obviously Pro Day is a kind of a unique situation, but what have you been looking to show, and how do you think you performed today?
Pretty much just working on everything, really. It wasn't one thing where we had focused on, but we wanted to make sure everything was as good as it possibly could be when the day came. And, I felt good. I definitely felt like, I put everything out there. I went as hard as I possibly can. So, I can definitely live with the results.
What have you been hearing from teams as far as, what they like in you and what they want to see you improve at or show something at?
Really just like my game film, the way that I play, how hard I'm going. Where I go sideline to sideline, tackling, just all those things really. But really like probably I feel, my biggest thing to work on was really just block shedding, getting rid of guys and being able to come off and make more plays.
Thanks, Antoine. Congrats and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Our next question will go to Lindsay Adelson.
Antoine, congrats on your Pro Day. The past seasons watching you, particularly after the games, after your great play, passion has been a word to describe you. Did you tap into that same passion today for Pro Day, or was there a different emotion or a different feeling, if you follow what I'm going on?
Oh yeah, definitely. I try to be a whole nother dude whenever I'm in that atmosphere, whenever I gotta step on the field or do anything within football. I take the glasses off, put my contacts on, and it's time to go from that point on.
One question I've been posing to your teammates as well is going back to high school days, even Pop, what advice would you give yourself or another athlete that has the same dreams and ambitions that you have right now?
Just keep working hard. Don't get too high, don't get too low on yourself, and just stay at it. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have points where you feel like you're at rock bottom, but if you can stay in the fight, you'll come out on top.
Sound like some good advice for life too. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
The next question is from Chris Solari.
Hey, Antoine, good to see you again. Wondered, just how much have you been hearing about what that transition to the 4-2-5 maybe did in terms of helping your profile, getting to play in multiple systems? I mean, does that help a guy at this point when teams are looking and talking to you to have a knowledge base on a bunch of different schemes?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like playing in the new system this past year was tremendous for a guy like myself. First 3 years I played outside the box in that hybrid position, being over the number 2, number 3 wide receivers, being out in space a lot. But, then this past year playing in the box, like 95% of the time, being able to shock guys, run inside out on the ball, it really just showed that I was more than capable of playing inside the box. I feel like I wasn't able to show that in previous years, but definitely feel like I was able to do that and show, my instincts. You can see more of my instincts, my football IQ and stuff. How quick you can see how quick I was, just everything like that.
And for you, how was it seeing some of those guys that you haven't seen in a year? I mean, Lewerke said he hadn't been back in a year. I'd imagine guys like Josh and some Tyreek hadn't been back in quite some time. I mean, what was that like?
It was awesome, just being back with the guys, seeing them catching up, and just talking about how everything's been going with each other. It was awesome. It was awesome, being able to see everybody, my former teammates, coaches, just everything, definitely felt the love, felt there's a lot of support out there. And, I'm just excited. I was happy with everything.
Next question is from Rico Cooney with Spartan Magazine.
Hey, Antoine, congratulations on the process today. Can you talk a little bit about how, during the interviews, teams ask you, hey, what kind of guy are we getting? What kind of linebacker are we getting? What was your answer?
You're definitely gonna get a hardworking guy, positive attitude, a leader. I'm gonna show up, do everything right, do whatever's needed for to better the team. Whatever it takes. I'm gonna get the job done, and you're gonna get a heck of a football player. I'm gonna give it 110 in practice. I'm gonna give it 110 on game days. That's just the type of guy I am. I want to be the best. I want to win. You know what I mean? So that's the attitude I'm trying to bring.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Matthias Ornelas from Timeout Brazil.
Antoine Matheus from Timeout Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft.
Thank you for hopping on with us all the way from Brazil.
Thank you. It's been really cool doing that. In 2019, you have a season with almost 100 total tackles and showed that you can chase the ball, chase the players. And in 2020, you have all those problems, the COVID, you played less games, only 7 games. How do you think that the previous seasons before the COVID can help you players like for going for the NFL and help on the talk with the scouts and the coaches?
Are you asking how did COVID affect everything?
No, how do you think that the 2019 season that you have help you on this NFL process? Because in 2020 was a so different year, like with less games and more problems for the players.
Oh, definitely. I feel like 2019 helped me a lot. I actually played in that hybrid spot for about 8 games, 9 games, and then I actually had the ability to play middle linebacker the past like 3 or 4 games. So I had the opportunity to be all over the field and had the ability to make plays. Showcase a different skill set. So I definitely feel like 2019 helped me a lot, and also it helped me grow. As an individual, as a football player, as a leader, because we ended up losing a few guys, throughout the season, and it kind of, and I kind of had to step up and be more of a leader, be more vocal, and just be, just have a bigger impact, on the team.
And just a quick follow up, what do you have hearing from the NFL that you might have to improve? Like have some coaches or any kind of people in the NFL talking to you about what you have to improve for the next level?
Nothing specifically. I really no scouts or teams have told me anything that I gotta improve on. But like I said earlier, one thing that I feel I can improve on is definitely block shedding. Being able to make plays off linemen and blockers, and being at the top of drops and having more crisp breaks.
Thank you, and good luck during the process.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Our next question is from Audrey Dahlgren with WLNS.
Hey, Antoine, first of all, did you cut your hair?
No, I didn't. No, I just got it braided.
Okay,
I just got it braided up.
All right, just curious. I didn't know if you were trying to save some time on your 40, but anyway, how was it today, just in general? Because we weren't able to be there, and usually this is an event that's open to us, so we can get a feel for the atmosphere and kind of just what's going on. So, what was it like overall? Just if you could paint a picture for us today.
It was awesome. When we came out, it was a whole bunch of scouts out there, a whole bunch of teams. The strength staffs out there, pretty much most of the coaches was out there. Dang, the whole team came out. It was just a great atmosphere. Like I said, you definitely felt the love. You felt all the support in the indoor weave. But it was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better atmosphere to be in, a better environment to be able to go out and perform at my highest ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Ryan with The Only Colors.
Hey, Antoine.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
I was just curious, when the NFL Combine list came out, it was surprising not to see your name on there after a highly productive college career. I was just curious, did you take that as a slight or like a chip on your shoulder, anything like that?
I mean, yeah, of course. After my last 2 seasons, I definitely felt like I felt like I was one of the best out there. But they pick the guys. I'm not in charge of anything. My job is just to show up and perform. So I can't complain or get too down about it. But it definitely gave me a little extra motivation. Definitely show I just got to keep working. Like I said, just stay in the fight. Keep doing what I do.
Absolutely. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Looks like that's all the questions we have. Antoine, congrats on a great pro day and good luck on the upcoming NFL draft.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. Do I need to mute this?
Thanks, man. We'll see it.
Yeah, if you
All
can
right,
mute
see
it,
you
that'd be
guys.
great. Thank you.
All right. Wait.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna see if Scott can jump on real quick. It doesn't look like Coach Tucker's gonna be able to join us, but let me see if Scott can join us real quick, and he'll hop right on. All right, looks like he's joining us now. All right, well, I want to introduce everyone to Scott Aligo. Unfortunately, with Pro Day looking a little different, obviously last year not having a Pro Day, unfortunately, and Pro Day looking different this year. I want to introduce our Director of Player Personnel. I know everyone on here will get to meet Scott eventually, but want to introduce it to him. This is his day in terms of organizing the event, working with the coaches, the NFL scouts, inviting the players to come back and really making this day happen. So we'll take some questions for Scott, but really this is a chance to introduce Scott to you and any questions you might have about him about the process of today. We'll do that as well. So we'll start with questions from Matt Wenzel with MLive. Matt?
Hey, Scott, having been on the pro side of this and with no combine and the guys that don't get a chance to be at the combine and the pro day is really their day. And that's kind of basically the situation for everybody this year. How critical is this day for these guys and, from your perspective and in evaluating them?
Yeah, it's vital for them and we take that seriously. So that's why today we want to make it their day and really kind of bringing those guys back and trying to make it as combine-like as possible without having to be at the combine. So everything that we structured today was to make that feel that they were in Indianapolis. So yeah, it's very important, and we took a lot of pride in really showing off Michigan State and being able to show them what our players can do. I texted the group and I said we have a fast track today, so it was good.
How can you kind of describe what it took to put this together this year when you got the regular players, the former players and the scouts with what's looming? Well,
same with I think the consistent message, our medical staff has been unbelievable. We couldn't have done this without them. Kind of going through a protocol, being able to have our former players here, the scouts coming from outside, doing it safely. And they put an awesome protocol. They worked with me. I tried to push as much as possible to get as much access as possible, so that they've done an awesome job accommodating us, making it safe for our players, making it safe for the scouts, making it safe for our staff and the competing players. So they did an incredible job. And then obviously the operational staff helped me incredibly by how we did our signage, how we did the flow of everything through the building, making sure that we didn't interrupt kind of our spring ball practice and really just kind of made two ships in the night of two kind of different events going on. It was really pretty cool to see. And there's just a lot of people our player personnel and recruiting staff helping me with lanyards and setting things up. Our equipment staff with the gear, making it specifically catered to every individual player, along with the signage that's in all around the whole building, made it feel like there was a huge event going on today. The scouts, when they came in, had breakfast and We had little cocktail tables where they could eat and had all this stuff. Like today was like their day. And then like the video staff, we had a whole army of Chris Plasters guys, like videotaping every single event, making sure that those each guy will have their own specific cut up that we send to the NFL. And again, it's a lot of moving pieces, along with working with the scouts of making sure that once they're doing their bench press, we have 2 different angles. And then once they do that, they go into the weave and then they do their broad jump. So there's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of different people that helped me today, like that made this day awesome. And just kind of knowing everything that goes on in a pro day, what helps with the scouts and make it smooth. I think we had a check-in time at 9:15 and we were done by 1. So to be able to be efficient with that, with everyone's schedule, with spring ball, I can't be more grateful for all those people that helped out today. I mean, they made today awesome.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Our next question will go to Chris Solar, the Detroit Free Press.
Hey, Scott, good to finally catch up with you here.
Chris.
I wanted to kind of, it's kind of partly with this and partly with the recruiting element and everything that goes along with the portal and all that. You guys have taken more of an NFL approach to things, and I would imagine that's kind of part of what today is. I mean, how do you kind of use that NFL approach from something like this and sell it backward to the high school kids or the prospects that you guys are trying to attract through the portal?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting process dealing with the portal prospects. It's more of I kind of call it's like NFL for agency. I mean, it's more of a business decision more than a recruiting pitch. And you're trying to, they have made that decision to go into the portal, which is never an easy one. And for whatever reason, and you want to be able to give them a home that kind of fits their needs, and whether it's a 3-year transfer or if they have 1 year, and really be able to kind of have it's more of a business decision, and those guys want to be able to be surrounded with people that can handle their transition in a professional manner, and know like it's not just a recruiting pitch for a 17-year-old. It's just way different, and be able to use that experience of like post-draft. You have, when you do college free agents, you have about 15 minutes to sign 30 guys, and you have to be able to talk fast. You have to get to the point, keep them interested, and go. And that's where kind of this process is where when you, like a prospect goes into the portal, you're going to have 40 teams call you, and you have to be able to catch their interest in the first 2 minutes, and be able to sell the experience that Coach Tucker's brought into the staff on the NFL side of it. Shows them that we not only have been seeing guys that have been there, but actually have competed on Sunday, and really just showing them that, like, I really just say my job is to maximize your earning potential, period. And I think being able to show them how we do that in an efficient manner, and kind of show them what the steps we will take once they get here. And we have a specific plan for every guy that comes into our organization. I think that's what Coach Tucker does an incredible job of, is all 85 guys, there's a specific plan for those kids. And it's not just hey, you're going to come here and do this. Like we're going to make a specific plan for every kid. And that's why I think it's rare. And it's not really selling anymore. It's educating them on like, hey, this is how we're going to use you. And it's cool to be a part of that process and kind of use my experiences in the NFL here, because it's been a fun transition. It's more natural for me to talk about that when they're a little bit older, but it's been a really cool process.
And I know that it's been kind of a chaotic, crazy past year or so. Yeah. And I can't remember exactly when you were hired, but were you on to plan last year's pro day?
Yeah, so I got here actually the Wednesday before last year's spring break. So my first day was the Wednesday before spring break. So we were here for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We went on spring break And then that following week is when we got sent home. So I was here for a total of like 8 days, and then I got back in my car and drove back to Ohio. And so it was obviously a crazy time, but it's one of those, I think you have to be able to adapt quickly. And I think at least my time in the NFL has taught me to, like, you have to be able to adapt and go and not really like wait. So like when Coach, the last week before we left, we had like a Friday meeting, and he was like, hey, I think we're getting shut down in 24 hours. We have to have a plan. And really, he was like, I need the plan tomorrow. So it was, there was a group of us that that were just recently hired that really kind of had, you kind of had to go and kind of just having the instincts of what he wants and all that stuff. And but yeah, so I had originally talked to that group last year when I first got here to set everything up, and got with all the operational people to set this up, and then canceled. So it was just one of those unfortunate things. So when I got to start anew, text them back this year and say, hey, we get to do it again. It's been really cool to kind of see, give them this opportunity, because they've earned it, in my opinion. I mean, they've given a lot to Michigan State, and it's the least we can do to be able to give them that opportunity to do that. And it's fulfilling to me. And I was telling Shaq, Antoine, and Naquan, like I'm pretty hard on them, just kind of trying to be transparent with them. And I said, today is a smiling day. Like, you ain't gonna get any, it's all positive today. So it was really cool to see them. And they were all lighting up, and I thought they did a really good job today.
Thanks, man.
Our next question is from Mateus Ornelas in Timeout Brazil.
Scott, here's Mateus Ornelas from Brazil. It's really cool to have the chance to talk to you. You have experience in other programs before getting Michigan State, and the first year you already have this COVID bomb. Then probably wasn't in the plans for you or for everybody. But how was for you, like, have to deal with like all the players, the coaches, and in the first year, and how was for you all this process during the COVID? You already talked about like make everything safe, but how was for you, like, have to deal with all the problems of the coaches and the players and try to make the guys stay home and take all the precautions they have to take?
I mean, I think Coach Tucker, he just talks about behavior modifications, and really we've just really instilled that of like, we know what it will take to be able to play, be able to not test positive, and kind of eliminate kind of the outside distractions. And it does take sacrifice. And I think our players have done an incredible job of buying into that. And everybody today, like, there was no negative test. They all got their test. We set a protocol that they had to have a negative test before they came in a certain amount of time. They all did that. They all knew what it would take to do that. So I just think this group has been resilient with everything that's been thrown at them. And it's just been cool to see that, like, when given an opportunity, like, hey, if we get to have this pro day, this is everything that has to be done, and they all did it. So I think the group has been awesome.
Thank you.
A couple more for Scott. We'll go to Colton Pouncey with The Athletic.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
What's up, Colton?
So, I mean, just hearing you talk about all the details from this pro day, it really seems like this is sort of a passion project for you, especially given your background. So can you kind of explain why this process is so important for you? And, maybe what do you want Michigan State's pro day to be, the perception of this pro day to be for scouts in NFL circles?
I want it to be a destination place. We put a lot of time and effort into all the little details. I always say, like, I want Michigan State, when they come in, to be like a happy evaluation. I don't want it to ever be an angry evaluation. I want it to always be happy. I want them to walk in and feel like they're loved. Like, it's just like if you're a doctor and the best hospital comes into Michigan State, you're going to roll the red carpet out. We're going to do the same thing with NFL scouts. And we've asked so much of the players to make sacrifices. We have so much of them to do to kind of buy into our message that I think it's only fair for us to really roll the red carpet out for them and let them have a chance to really put their best foot forward. And I think being able to know what the scouts want to have it be efficient, because right now, like, so all the guys right now, they got their Chick-fil-A as they walked out the door, and they're heading to Kalamazoo right now. So, I mean, they're all literally I think there was 35 guys here. They're all being Kalamazoo this evening, checking into a hotel. So it's like to be able to be efficient with that, to me is important, because I know when I was a scout, like I knew, because you're tasked to go in front of an owner, in front of a GM, in front of the head coach to really sell. You're the first line of defense to really sell and be convicted about a player. And I always thought that when the doors were wide open for me and be able to like really interact and have full access, I wanted to fight for that kid more. And when I want to be able to give it to these guys, and I wanted to show the players that are currently on our team what the standard is. And with all the little stuff, like there's a lot of people that were probably think I was a little bit of a madman the last couple of weeks of just little stuff of from the boards to the lanyards to like where we're to the gear to all this little stuff and to how we're presenting breakfast, how we're doing all this other stuff. And to me, all those details matter because they haven't been in a school for a year. So these coaches, these scouts and a couple of coaches, like this is their first time seeing us as a staff. And I want them to know that this is a standard and then also it raises the energy in the room. It raises everything else. And like the players feel that, just like I heard Antoine saying, and then they can go perform their best. And then they can have a good experience as kind of as their somewhat of their final chapter here at Michigan State.
Our last two will be from Stephen Brooks and Paul from Spartan Magazine. We'll go to Stephen first.
Hey, Scott, good to talk to you here, sort of meet you, I guess, however you term that. Just to start off, how many would you guess pro days you attended as a scout during your time?
Oh, wow. This month has usually been, it's a grind. I mean, you're going to three to four to five a week for about a couple months. So it's just really kind of everyone in your area. I don't have a specific number, but I think because it gets blurry at the end of the month.
Over 100, I guess, would you say? Around 100?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I only asked that to say, curious if you take that experience to tell the Michigan State guys today, is there anything that maybe you noticed as a scout when you went to these things that the kids might not have picked up on or maybe aren't told in the training process? Just little things, maybe whether it's body language or this or that, or how you introduce it, anything at all that you picked up that maybe can help these guys that they might not have known that you have from your perspective doing that?
Absolutely. Everything, like you're being watched like a hawk by everyone, like at every point of every part of this day. I mean, essentially they are down in compression shorts and they have left to right and they have to squat down. I mean, you're in a pretty vulnerable position because you're getting judged head to toe. And I think just being able to know that this is an interview, the second you walk in, they see how you interact with, they wait and see how you interact when you check in. Are you saying please and thank you? Are you saying all this stuff? And really just kind of educating them on that, knowing like they end up dressing in our equipment room. We have a great setup by our equipment staff. So the scouts kind of could go in and out. Well, you don't know who you're talking with a friend, but then all of a sudden they're watching you, how you interact. Like, is this important to you? So just being able to just kind of have their antenna up and just be able to watch that part of it. How they handle, if they don't do as well they think they do, the language they use. It's not a locker room or a weight room. Like there are 35 people watching you and judging you, and they have to give a report on, again, body language, every single thing. So I think just being able just to educate them the sense of urgency and the importance of it, and knowing that like it's only for about 3 or 4 hours, just and kind of put your best foot forward and go forward.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Last question is from Paul from Spartan Mag.
Hey, Scott, thanks for taking the time. I wanted to ask about Naquan, and when a guy has had kind of issues with his weight throughout his career, and he puts the effort that Naquan has to get his weight down to where it is right now, what does that, put on your scout hat for a minute, and what does that mean to NFL scouts, and does that mean more than maybe what he can do as far as bench press numbers or something?
I think it goes in. It's just a small part of the evaluation. It shows that, okay, hey, he had an opportunity to really focus on that part of his, I guess, nutrition and in his body, and obviously he responded well. I think it helps you kind of go into other questions to ask, just why was it easier for you to do this now, and like maybe it says, hey, maybe if he has maybe with more opportunities, more financial support, then it shows that he can surround himself with people to help him out with that. Shows him that he can focus and lock in to do that. I think it's positives. I think it's all positives, and it shows that when kind of putting his foot to the fire, he can really do it.
And what was your, just kind of as a follow-up, what was your kind of just a general impression of his pro day, and did he do a lot to improve his stock with NFL teams today?
Yeah, because I think you put on the Ohio State game. I mean, there's a lot of times where there's a lot of wow plays, and I think that was a general theme of a lot of the scouts and the coaches that were like, there was a lot of wow plays, and that makes someone. And humans aren't. I mean, he's a different size human. Like, you don't find those humans that are 6'3", 315 pounds. I mean, they're just tough to find. So he obviously is going to have a lot more intrigue and people kind of really doing research on that. I thought he did well. I thought his change of direction, being able to play well with lower pad level. I mean, I thought he did a good job. The coach, I think, was from the Lions, who came in here and worked him out. He was the only one in the D-line group, so sometimes it's tougher because it tests your endurance, and then they want to get you tired, and it's a lot of mind games too, how you handle adversity when you get tired. And I thought he did a good job, and he looked good. He was really good today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Scott. Well, that's all the questions we have for you. I really appreciate your time. Congrats on a great pro day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
everyone, for joining the Zoom today. I will send out some photos and B-roll as soon as we get off this call. So I'll get that to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
Hey, Ben. Hey, are you gonna send out a list of everybody who was there and maybe some numbers from guys?
I will check on that. I will send you a list of everyone who's here. I believe most people got that yesterday, but I will send that out again to you today.
All right. Thanks a lot.
No problem at all. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.